Is Vietnam safe to visit in 2025? It's a question people whisper in travel groups, argue about in forums, and, honestly, worry about quietly before booking their flights. And, yeah, there's a reason for that. Vietnam looks peaceful in photos: emerald mountains, lantern-lit streets, beaches glowing like polished glass. But the truth behind safety isn't always obvious. It's layered, sometimes surprising, and often misunderstood. The real story is that Vietnam can be incredibly safe if you understand how the country actually works beneath the surface. And that's what we're breaking down today. The official picture, the hidden risks travelers skip over, and the honest truth international visitors learn the hard way. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to expect in 2025, what to avoid, and how to enjoy Vietnam without turning a dream trip into a stressful experience. Now let's start with what governments officially say, because that alone reveals more than most people realize. Most major governments classify Vietnam as a generally safe destination in 2025, with the United States, Australia, and several European countries placing it in their lowest or second lowest risk category. The United States currently advises travelers to exercise normal precautions, which is the same level given to many popular tourist countries. Australia echoes this, noting that Vietnam is stable, welcoming, and mostly low risk for visitors. But the details inside these advisories matter. They consistently highlight three main cautions: petty theft in crowded areas, inconsistent road safety, and seasonal weather disruptions. None of these warnings are extreme, but they reflect the real issues travelers experience most often. Governments also advise visitors to avoid demonstrations, follow local laws carefully, and stay away from restricted border zones. The most practical takeaway from all of these advisories is simple. Vietnam is safe when you stay aware of your surroundings, protect your belongings, and pay attention to weather updates. Official sources are not trying to scare travelers. They're pointing out the everyday risks that are easy to manage with basic preparation. For most visitors, following standard travel sense is more than enough to enjoy Vietnam without problems. The everyday risks tourists face in Vietnam aren't dramatic or violent. They're quick, opportunistic, and usually avoidable with awareness. Petty theft is the most common issue, especially in busy areas of Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi's Old Quarter, and popular nightlife districts. The typical pattern is simple. A motorbike rider spots a loosely held phone or bag and snatches it while driving past. These incidents happen fast, often leaving travelers shocked because they never imagined someone could grab something without even stopping. Scams are another frequent annoyance. Overpriced taxi rides, dual menu pricing, fake ride-hailing drivers, and misleading tour offers are all part of the landscape in high tourist zones. Most scams aren't dangerous, just frustrating, and usually target travelers who look confused or rushed. ATM skimming and card fraud occur occasionally, mainly at isolated or older machines. Many experienced travelers prefer using ATMs attached to banks or withdrawing cash inside the branch. For most tourists, these problems never escalate beyond a lost phone or a few wasted dollars, but they can ruin a trip if you're unprepared. Keeping valuables out of sight, using crossbody bags, double-checking taxis, and staying alert in crowded streets dramatically reduces your chances of encountering any of these issues. The most underestimated danger in Vietnam isn't crime, it's the roads. Traffic here moves in a rhythm that feels chaotic to newcomers. Thousands of motorbikes weaving around cars, buses, pedestrians, and street vendors. While it looks intimidating, locals move through it with surprising precision. Tourists, however, often misjudge this flow, leading to accidents far more frequently than any crime-related issue. Most serious injuries involving visitors come from motorbike crashes, not theft or violence. Many travelers rent scooters without realizing how different Vietnam's traffic culture is from what they're used to. Wet roads, sudden turns, and inconsistent helmet quality add to the risk. Even experienced riders can get caught off guard, especially at night or during rain. Crossing the street safely requires a different mindset. Walk slowly, predictably, and avoid sudden stops. Drivers anticipate your movement, so confidence and consistency matter more than speed. For renting or driving a motorbike, the safest approach is simple. Unless you're truly experienced, don't ride. If you do, use a high-quality helmet, avoid highways, skip night riding, and never assume other drivers will follow predictable rules. Respecting Vietnam's road culture reduces your risk more than anything else you do on the trip. Vietnam's natural landscape is, honestly, just stunning, but its climate brings real risks that visitors often, overlook. Because the country stretches vertically, different regions face different patterns. Central Vietnam, home to Da Nang, Hoi An, and Hue, is the area most affected by typhoons, especially from September to December. These storms can bring heavy rain, strong winds, and coastal flooding, sometimes disrupting entire travel plans within hours. When a major storm approaches, flights may be delayed or canceled, boats and island tours shut down immediately, and certain roads become impassable due to flooding or landslides. Local authorities usually act fast, closing beaches and advising tourists to stay indoors until conditions improve. These precautions are not overreactions. They're based on years of experience dealing with sudden weather shifts. Northern and southern Vietnam face fewer typhoons, but they still experience seasonal heavy rainfall, especially during the monsoon months. Travelers who visit without checking the regional climate often end up surprised by washed-out itineraries. Planning around weather is simple. Avoid peak typhoon months if you want beach destinations, monitor forecasts during your trip, and stay flexible with activities. If a typhoon hits, expect temporary closures, power outages, and rescheduled transport, but also a quick return to normal once the storm passes. Vietnam is politically stable, but it operates under strict rules that visitors should understand. Public protests are rare, and when they do occur, they are quickly dispersed by authorities. Foreigners are strongly advised not to participate in or film demonstrations, even out of curiosity. It's not about danger, it's simply illegal for visitors to be involved, and doing so can lead to questioning or fines. Certain border regions near Laos, Cambodia, and China also have restricted zones, especially areas with military presence or ethnic minority communities. These places aren't dangerous, but they are sensitive, and entering without permission can cause unnecessary trouble. Most travelers never go near these regions unless they're trekking off the usual tourist path. Other restrictions are subtle but important. Avoid flying drones in city centers without a permit. Be cautious when photographing government buildings, and stay away from any area marked with security signs or fences. These rules exist regardless of how harmless something looks. The best way to steer clear of non-crime issues is simple. Stick to well-known routes, follow local instructions, and avoid activities that draw attention, like joining gatherings or exploring unsigned rural paths. Staying respectful of local laws ensures a smooth, trouble-free trip through Vietnam. Vietnam offers reliable medical care in its major cities, but quality varies sharply between urban centers and remote regions. Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and Da Nang have modern hospitals with international standard facilities, English-speaking staff, and 24/7 emergency departments. Smaller towns and rural areas may only have basic clinics, limited equipment, and fewer trained doctors, so serious conditions could require transfer to a city hospital. Travel insurance is honestly essential. Policies should cover medical emergencies, hospital stays, motorbike accidents, and medical evacuation if needed. Vaccinations for hepatitis A, typhoid, and routine travel shots are recommended, with additional precautions depending on the region and season. Ambulances exist in urban areas, but response times can be slower than what visitors expect. Many locals rely on taxis or motorbikes to reach hospitals during emergencies. For serious incidents, medevac options are available through private services or insurance plans, but they require preparation and awareness. Practical steps for travelers include keeping a digital copy of health documents, noting the nearest hospital or clinic, and saving emergency numbers in your phone. Being proactive about medical care ensures peace of mind and faster response if anything goes wrong, making your trip safer and more enjoyable. While Vietnam is generally safe, tourists can still encounter scams, mostly small, opportunistic tricks targeting those unfamiliar with local norms. Overpriced taxis are common, especially when drivers refuse meters or quote inflated rates to unsuspecting visitors. Using reputable ride-hailing apps like Grab or MyLin reduces this risk significantly. Street vendors or market stalls may advertise fake branded goods, souvenirs, or tours at inflated prices. Always check reviews, compare offers, and be ready to walk away. Some tourists also encounter fake guides or unlicensed tour operators. They might promise exclusive experiences but deliver poor service or overcharge. Booking through official channels or trusted platforms is the safest way to avoid these traps. Money safety is another key consideration. ATMs at isolated locations can be vulnerable to skimming, so it's best to withdraw from machines inside banks or major hotels. Many visitors carry a mix of cash and cards, cash for small purchases and cards for larger payments. Always keep backups and avoid showing large amounts of cash in public. The core principle is awareness. Knowing common scams and planning your money strategy in advance allows you to enjoy Vietnam confidently, without unnecessary stress or losses. A little vigilance goes a long way. Vietnam is widely considered safe for a variety of travelers, but experience differs depending on who you are. Solo female travelers generally report a positive experience. Harassment is rare compared with many other destinations. Still, basic precautions apply. Avoid walking alone in poorly lit alleys at night, keep valuables discreet, and dress respectfully, especially in temples or rural areas. Confidence and awareness are the strongest deterrents against unwanted attention. For seniors, the main considerations are comfort and mobility. Traffic and uneven sidewalks can pose minor risks, so planning routes and avoiding peak motorbike congestion makes a big difference. Medical readiness, travel insurance, and slower-paced itineraries help older travelers enjoy the country safely. Families with children typically find Vietnam welcoming, with plenty of family-friendly hotels, attractions, and open-air markets. Simple safety measures, hand hygiene, supervising kids near roads or rivers, and keeping a local SIM handy prevent most issues. Understanding local culture reduces friction and risk for everyone. Polite greetings, respecting customs, and following local advice shows awareness and earns trust. Using a little preparation, travelers of any type, women, seniors, or families, can explore Vietnam confidently, without unnecessary worry, and enjoy its unique charm fully. Smart planning is the difference between a smooth trip in Vietnam and a stressful one. Start before you leave by registering your travel plans with your home country's embassy. This ensures officials can reach you quickly in case of emergencies or natural disasters. Keep embassy contacts saved in your phone and on paper as a backup. Travel insurance is non-negotiable. Choose a plan that covers medical emergencies, motorbike accidents, theft, and trip disruptions. Check the policy's local hospital network and whether it includes evacuation if necessary. Digital tools make real-time planning easy. Download local weather apps to track storms, traffic apps like Grab for safe transport, and navigation tools to avoid risky roads. Buying a local SIM ensures stable communication, fast internet, and access to emergency services. Visas and entry requirements can change quickly. Double-check requirements before departure, and have all documents printed and stored digitally. Finally, build a contingency plan. Identify nearby hospitals, know alternative accommodations, set a meeting point for companions if separated, and always have extra cash and cards accessible. Travelers who plan proactively enjoy Vietnam confidently, knowing that even unexpected events are manageable with the right preparation. Traveling in Vietnam? Here's what really works. Keep your valuables close and hidden, and never leave your bag unattended in crowded streets. Use trusted ride apps to avoid taxi surprises. Always carry digital and printed copies of your passport and visa. Dress appropriately when visiting temples or rural villages. It shows respect and keeps unwanted attention away. Watch the weather closely, especially in central regions prone to storms. Register with your embassy and save emergency contacts in your phone. Avoid dark alleys at night. Don't film protests or political gatherings. It's not worth the risk. Skip unlicensed guides or suspicious tours, and think twice before renting a motorbike if you're inexperienced. Never leave drinks or food unattended, and keep cash and electronics discreet. Follow these simple habits, and you'll move through Vietnam safely, confidently, and enjoy every moment without unnecessary stress. So, is Vietnam safe to visit in 2025? The honest answer is yes. For most travelers, Vietnam is a welcoming and low-risk destination. Everyday hazards like petty theft, traffic, or weather require awareness, but they're easy to manage with preparation. Following local customs, staying alert, and planning your trip smartly keeps the experience smooth and enjoyable. Here's the surprising part. While many first-time visitors focus on crime or political issues, the real risks are often small, everyday details. Crossing streets, riding scooters, or choosing reputable services. Mastering these simple habits transforms a trip from stressful to seamless. If you want the latest updates on Vietnam visas, entry rules, or seasonal advisories, check the link in the description. A little preparation goes a long way, ensuring your adventure is safe, smooth, and unforgettable. Vietnam isn't just safe, It's ready for travelers who plan wisely.